Hello, I just wanted to have my say on the ladies that are really strange to be called the waspy women, but just bear with me. I had a stroke exactly a year ago today. I mean, at this time a year ago I was in A&E, totally out of it. And I had a brain bleed. I've been in rehab since then. I had a month in hospital. Such wonderful people, that look after you. I came out of hospital determined to get some sort of sense of normality back, but I'm here a year later and I am absolutely worn out with this stroke fatigue. I don't have use in my arm, my left side, left arm, hand, left leg is weak. I'm thankful I can just sort of walk around the house, but I can't really do much outside. I have a walking stick. There are sort of parts that are still numb, and I do have difficulty speaking at times, especially when I'm tired, so bear with me. I hope I don't have to cut this short, but I am one of those waspy women. I am in my early 60s. I feel like I'm a lot older than that at the moment. Leading up to the stroke, I was working. I was in mental health and working with really traumatised people. That would be male and female, but in the main it was women. And that was in 3 locations. I was really busy. I did a bit of charity work as well, because not everybody can afford therapy, and enjoyed everything that I did. I did a bit of walking and Pilates as hobbies, so I was reasonably fit. I mean, as far as I knew, I hadn't got any health things going on, but obviously, the brain bleed was caused by, I believe they call it hypertension or blood pressure. And okay, I'd got really good, what I call psychological resilience. I'd got level of physical fitness, and these things happen. Anyway, I'm a waspy woman, and I do feel a bit waspy at the moment, actually, because I'm stuck in this place where certainly I'm not able to go back to work. I am hoping that, over time, and I know how long my recovery might be. No, I haven't seen a specialist. I have to say, the Ipswich Hospital and the people that work there and helped me in that month to get out of hospital and return home, they are so wonderful. I can't put into words how grateful I am to the consultant and the whole team, including physios, etc. And I just want to acknowledge that. And the early discharge team that attend to you, I think they get about 3 weeks to help you at home with a bit of physio, which was really useful, but it wasn't anywhere near as long enough, especially if I'm now expected to go back to work at some point. I could have done with a lot more physio, and I could do with some physio now. I mean, I've been through a hell of a lot of pain in this last year, but anyway, it's ongoing. But I'm gonna say that as far as the pensions go, I hope, I believe there's some sort of review in July, and I hope that there is enough support and enough common sense, really, where we can, those of us who are 1950s born. I was born at the end of the 50s, but I lived through things like, rape in marriage was legal until 1991, Equalities Act. And I'm not being, I'm being straight to the point here, because some of these MPs, they seem to sort of think as soon as something's legislated and put into law, which takes long enough, everything changes. Well, it doesn't, because I was born into a culture where girls weren't as good as boys, and I was continually told that as a girl. Well, you're not a girl. Why do you want to go to college? Yes, you do need to help with the housework. And what do you mean your brothers can help? No, they're boys. They don't do that. So, you know, and I was born into a family where mum and dad, admittedly, there was definitely domestic issues going on. But I've gone through all of that in my life, and I've resolved stuff for me. All I'm saying is that when you're born into a generation where my mum obviously had her mum's influence, and you know, these things don't change overnight. These things change over 2 or 3 generations, the mentality, the culture. And I'm now in a position where I could have done with my pension, my state pension, um, because of my ill health. I wanted to go on working. I would have preferred some sort of transition from the full-time sort of role that I had, the busy role that I had up to last June. But you know, I think as George Osborne in the main, in his well, he didn't have any wisdom. He had intellect, and he had money as sort of flashing in his eyes, I think, at the time when he decided, oh well, I'm going to get everybody working longer. What I would like to see is a little bit of wisdom in some of these MPs, where they've got an ability to actually have some foresight, and also the old-fashioned word, I think, compassion. You know, there doesn't seem to be an awful lot of that about today. And I know you've got to do your job as an MP, but you've also got to be responsible of knowing what the knock-on effects of all of this is. There are ladies of my age who support their families, and they help with grandchildren and other aspects of the family. Whereas now, putting us in this position, most of us are absolutely knackered. And I must admit, I want to live quite a few more years, but I can't even think about going back to work until I've got some level of rehabilitation where for one, the fogginess in my head, this stroke fatigue, is horrible. And also, obviously, I mean, I will say that I sold my car. My car was 10 years old. I sold it in December with the help of a friend. And I'm living off the proceeds, because that's how things are. I mean, I did contact my local MP, and she suggested that I apply for universal credit, whereas none of this would have been such a worry if there was any level of my state pension being available. I was a bit bemused, to say the least. That, you know, she said, well, you'll have to apply. That was her stance on it. She didn't say, oh yeah, well, let's hope and support this review going through in July. Hopefully somebody will see sense. But I just want to thank the ladies that are working so hard to try and get this thing overruled, because you know, it's ridiculous. There needs to be a little bit more consideration and foresight into any level of transition for people's retirement ages to be increased. I mean, ideally, I would have carried on with a level of work. I would have carried on with some of the charity work that I was doing. You know, I've worked for nothing. I've actually, because of the work I do, my profession has to be registered. And I have to jump. I do have to jump through hoops to retain the professional status, which I didn't have. I love the work. I think that's so worthwhile. But you know what? I can't afford to do things for nothing. because I still have to pay professional costs and things like that. I don't know if the government actually thinks that far ahead. They don't. I'm sure they don't. They're just trying to grasp pots of money from some of the most vulnerable people in the country, and continually we hear of pay increases that they're going to have, and all, you know, I've got a problem with them having pay increases, but if money is that tight that they're taken from the likes of our national insurance or years that we've qualified to have a state pension, if they're taking that from us and using it for other things, then hey ho, everybody's got to stop this being given money. But you know, I'm not going to get into the politics of it. I'm just saying I think that's been the wrong decision, and I hope I haven't gone on and on, but I'm going to have to finish because, as I said, this stroke fatigue really gets me, and I need a cup of tea. So yeah, I hope you have a good day. Please share my video, or what I'll call it video. Share my video, and please get support. Contact your MP. We contribute a lot to society, and for goodness sake, just give us what is really within our rights to have. It's not a benefit, it's our rights, because we've worked through working life, we've brought up families, we've contributed. I mean, I've done so much voluntary work, especially when I was working with my own family, but I don't want to harp on about what I've done. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, thanks for listening, and please share. Thank you.